Okay, so the night before the inquest, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow is the 24th of July, 2025, the start of Jay Slater's inquest. I just thought I'll put this video together, kind of give our final thoughts before the inquest. It's going to be a very, very interesting day. We will be back here tomorrow and Friday, and probably over the weekend with several videos going over what took place at the inquest, new information, witness statements, and ultimately the outcome. That's the most important thing, understanding what was the final outcome. As I said in my last video, ladies and gentlemen, once we get through these 2 inquest days, whatever the outcome is, that's exactly what the outcome is. We have been here for 13 whole months trying to understand the true reality of what actually happened to Jay. We've gone through all of the information that there is to go through. And believe it or not, we have stumbled across so much factual information that proves there is a cover-up, these guys are lying, and something more sinister happened to Jay. The last inquest itself, when it comes to the pathology report, it didn't go into certain specific details that could give us a clearer understanding, that could give us more clarity. There are things that were mentioned that don't make sense with the conditions of the area. I mean, Duncan Smith, big him up, he has done a fantastic job, literally breaking down every single aspect regarding Jay's fall. And it's very intriguing, especially when you compare Jay's fall in a mountainous area from over 100 foot high, and you compare that to other falls that have taken place around the world. The inconsistency of the injuries. See, we spoke about Jay's head trauma. Head trauma being the ultimate injury that killed Jay. Killed him instantly, according to the inquest. Other than a brain trauma and a head injury, there was gashes, lacerations, oh yeah, and a broken pelvis. Other than that, we're not told about any other broken bones. And maybe there were hundreds of broken bones, but it wasn't disclosed at the inquest. Then it wouldn't make any sense for them to detail the head trauma, the brain injury, the broken pelvis, the lacerations, and everything else that comes with the report that we were given at the last inquest, but not mention it had multiple broken bones. Literally, ladies and gentlemen, there are multiple red flags galore within this case. If you're a new subscriber to the channel, then make sure you go and check out the Jay Slater playlist, because it will bring you up to speed. And the last couple of videos that we've done on Jay Slater is more or less hitting now on the head information. It's giving you my theory, it's giving you what I believe happened to Jay Slater. There is still one missing piece, and that would be, well, what was it that killed Jay? How did Jay actually die? See, that's something that we still haven't determined yet. What I am confident on saying is that whatever happened to Jay happened after leaving Papagayo nightclub and before getting into Ayab's car. Means the only location it leaves us to pinpoint as to where the incident took place would be the beach. Whatever happened to Jay happens near Papagayo nightclub, outside, beside it, behind it, was definitely in that location. And then everything else was fabricated from there to make it look like Jay went off with 2 Somali kids to an Airbnb and decided to walk the wrong way and walk through this treacherous terrain, which ultimately leads him off a cliff. Last time we saw Jay officially, as I've mentioned multiple times before, is when we see him without his t-shirt on inside Papagayo nightclub, where he puts his arm around Brandon. Brandon decides to walk over to Lucy, who's coming down the stairs, and that all took place in between 12:30 to 1:30 in the morning. After that, we never see Jay again. In fact, we do see Jay again. We see Jay in the back of the car with Ayab claiming to Mark Williams Thomas that he's got pictures of Jay in the back of the car smiling his face off. But we see Jay, a badly beaten Jay, in my opinion, potentially a dead Jay, in the back of that car with Ayab taking the picture. And across the screen, you've got stolen an AP. And just to let you guys know, that version, the AP version, was the second version. Why did they need to make 2 versions? All right, so let's move on, ladies and gentlemen. I want to move over to Haley Comet. She dropped a video 48 hours ago, just giving her final thoughts on this case. As we know, Haley has been on the case from the very, very beginning, as many other people have as well. I was tagged in the comments of this video, so I do want to give this a listen. I have listened to the first 10 to 20 seconds. I want to listen to this now. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe if you are newly watching, and let's check this out.
I find the Jay Slater case so frustrating. Now, what I find most frustrating is there's been some massive bits of information that have come out over the last 6 weeks, and yet nobody said anything about it. Now, creators obviously have talked about it, but no family members have commented on it. Nobody in the media has really commented largely on it. So you have a 19-year-old boy who, on the evening that he will go on to die, says that he feels he's been marked and sends out messages. We have him hours later sending messages to friends where he's armed himself with knives, which I told people about last year and no one believed, but that was confirmed at the inquest that yes, Jay did arm himself at the Airbnb apparently with knives because he was scared. We then had Ayub Qasim, through Mark Williams Thomas's podcast, come out and say that Jay had actually stole a large bag of drugs off him. And yet
Let's just pause it. He didn't say that Jay stole a large bag of drugs off him. I know everyone's going to go over this again, but literally I've listened to it over and over and over again. And you have to listen to Ayub carefully. He basically says he's effed off on the ket, not with, on. And it does sound like it's with, but I'm telling you now, if I really wanted to force a narrative, if I really wanted to say, yes, it was it, yes, that was it, Ayub's guilty, he's guilty, I would say it. I would say no, 100% Mark Williams Thomas is right. He says walking away with the ket. I'm telling you guys now, I know people like Ayub. There is no way if Jay would have walked away with the ket, Ayub would have allowed that to happen. That never would have happened. It never would have happened. Jay would have never have made it that far if he had stole something from Ayub. It makes no sense. And again, the other things that she said, the 2 knives, that's something that is made up. Jay never had 2 knives. It's a made up story. Message, they've put a marker on me. I'm starting to feel like that is even made up. I'm starting to feel like they had Jay's phone even at that point. Because again, if you think about the story that they've given us, everything was to make it look like it was Jay's fault. Jay's the one to blame. We know nothing about it. It's all on Jay. You ask me, I don't know anything about it. I can't tell you if Jay had 2 knives. It was Josh that received the picture and he says he deleted it. But Josh wouldn't make it up. And if Jay said that, then he wouldn't have made it up. They're basically verifying that it's true without verifying it's true, if you understand what I mean. It's an indirect verify. No proof whatsoever, no evidence whatsoever, but I'm going to support the possibility of it happening. Why are you going to support the possibility of it happening? When we get to the NRG festival and Jay's waved out of his face, we can see that no one's really providing him support. Everyone's really standoffish and really cold. That night was the night where they all seemed stone cold towards Jay. The only person that was next to Jay more or less the whole night was Brad. And Brad seems concerned. He seemed unsure. Literally go back and look at all of the clips with Brad in them. Brad comes across really concerned, really unsure. He even seems like he's on edge, and I'm not too sure why he would be feeling that way, unless they have seen people in Tenerife that they don't get along with. Going over these messages that have been sent between Brandon and Jay, we understand now why Brandon was coming across that way. Now we understand why Brandon was standoffish when it comes to Jay. And him and Lucy clearly had something going on that evening. Whether that involved Ayub at that time, we can't even confirm that. All we can confirm thereafter is Jay's in the back of a car filming Ayub, Brandon sitting next to him, and they're driving on the M-way towards Masca. That's when Ayub initially comes into the picture. Whatever happens in between Jay leaving Papagayo nightclub and getting into Ayub's car involved Brandon for sure, because he was with Jay in the Papagayo nightclub, and he was also with Jay, if that was Jay in the back of the car, in the passenger seat of Ayub's car, driving towards Masca. So again, it takes me back to saying it is possible that the messages, like, they've put a marker on me, and everything else that come thereafter was being fabricated by the friends to make it look like Jay had done something wrong. Jay was feeling some type of way. Jay was disobedient. He wasn't listening. Jay was moving paranoid. The list goes on, but they painted that type of picture from the get-go. And the last bit of footage we have of Jay, he doesn't even look like he's in a position to walk out of the NRG festival without putting his arm around someone, let alone sending a message and sending messages without even making typos. And then telling the world twice about stealing this watch, and the second version comes with no typos whatsoever. They were just desperately trying to make it look a certain way so much that they forgot about things like typos. And multiple other things that just don't make any sense as well. But again, we'd be here for hours if we was to go through that list. So let's just keep this short and simple. Let's get back into what Haley's saying here anyway.
His body was not found with any bag of drugs from any kind of report I can find, which means at some point somebody stopped Jay, if that is true at all. they stopped him and took back their property. And then the boy ends up down a ravine with a horrific head injury, which apparently we can't say where the head injury comes from, but they seem so sure it's just from the fall. And yet nobody comes out and says anything. And I personally, if someone I loved had said, I've been marked, and then went on to arm himself with knives, I think I would have something to say about that. But yet the new documentary that's going to come out pretty soon on Channel 4 is just going to be a slating of people on social media like myself and how people covered the case. But it's not going to be about how two middle-aged men made Jay feel like he was marked, how loads of people seemed to appear at the Energy Festival related to the Tom Hilton case that night, and then Jay was terrified, armed himself with knives and ended up dead. I just don't understand.
She makes a number of good points there. Again, it doesn't make any sense how we've been given all of this information through the inquest, as well as all of the other information that connects with that information, but no one's asking questions. You also have reporters that claim to have been following the case from the very beginning. Call us out, armchair detectives this, various different names, as if we are delusional freaks online that has nothing else better to do other than make stuff up. That's the way they publish their stories in the media. What's her name? Katie Davis. A new report published by Katie Davis not too long ago. Absolutely disgraceful report. I was in fact going to react to that report, break it down for you, and give you guys reasons as to why Katie Davis was talking absolute BS. So when we think about the media, when you think about journalists, it takes you back to like Lois Lane and Peter Parker and these type of shows whereby they would make you think that journalists are going out there to investigate whatever they want. No, it's not like that, ladies and gentlemen. These journalists ain't going out there to investigate what they want. There is no real personal attachment, personal commitment to investigate what truly happened when it comes to journalists. They are told what to report, and that's exactly what they do. The media are there to manipulate the way you think, what you feel, and ultimately what you believe. When the media know there's a higher power that be that's shutting down every single avenue, and when we say shutting down every single avenue, we're talking about information. When they feel that that avenue has been shut down, they just start following the official narrative that's been given to them by the people in charge, who are usually the police. So from there is no investigation. So ultimately it was down to people like me, down to people like Haley, down to people like Duncan Smith, even though he probably wouldn't have wanted me to mention his name after mentioning Haley's. I mean, keeping this neutral, keeping this for the Jay Slater case, there has been multiple people, Mama D, Streamline Entertainment, various other names I don't even need to name drop, have been crucial in keeping Jay Slater's name alive. And there's been no other reason other than one, and that's for justice. That's for the truth. That's it. At this point, I sincerely hope that tomorrow and Friday, that's exactly what the Slater family get. Justice. The answers that they want. I was going to react to a few other content creators, but again, I don't want to drag this one out. I really want to wait until we get to the inquest tomorrow. Really find out what's happening. Any new information, I will be releasing new videos in regards to that information. Anything that comes out that helps our theory make even more sense, I'll be revealing that. Tomorrow is the day we find out if all of those witnesses turn up. What are they going to be saying? How are they going to be responding? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's leave it there. Thank you ever so much. Much appreciate every single one of you. Remember, don't go anywhere over the next 24 to 48 hours. We're going to be releasing a number of Jay Slater videos. Hopefully, we get to the truth. Alongside that, we'll have the new content as well, ladies and gentlemen. I know a lot of you guys have been enjoying the new content, the creepy, the mysterious, the disturbing. Thank you ever so much for watching those videos and liking the content and leaving all of your comments. It doesn't go unnoticed. We are extremely appreciative of all the new subscribers. Turn those notification bells on. You know, just click that bell. Make sure all notifications are turned on so you miss out on no videos. At least you get that notification if you're at work and you can say, you know what, as soon as I finish work or as soon as I go on my lunch break, I'm tapping into that video. Make sure you've got your notification bells turned on. Leave all of your thoughts, all of your comments, all of that down below. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.